Welcome back, this is Antman2050, and we're playing Dynasty Warriors 9. This is also Sunday Shuffle. So, we left off with a little bit more mission to go. And as before, I've had more perspective, I've had more time to think about things. So, my opinion is still not the greatest. Dynasty 9 has a lot of work to do to really make it a better game. This is another part that I think could actually be done a lot better. It's cool that we have these special items that are hanging out in the woods to collect, but there's nothing significant that comes through them. So, but I have figured out a few things. One is I figured out how to run, and this works both with your horse and with your character. I figured out how to jump with the horse, which is super awesome. I guess we might as well. We're gonna have to deal with these guys eventually anyways. And I've also figured out how to use the infamous auto run with the horse, which is about as broken as it gets. I've been checking out some of the other characters in the game, so
I claim this area in the name of Wu.
I really dislike that. The funny thing is, like, a support captain like this, the mission that he gives should be a side mission. That's a part of the regular missions that they are prompting you for in the game. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if you haven't seen auto run yet, just try any review of the game at all, because every single one of them will tell you about how bad it is. It basically will GPS to its own set of roads, and then it'll march you straight into every obstacle on those roads. It is literally an auto run that does it guides itself, but it guides itself without any thought as to where any obstacles are. And so for certain things, like riding into town, auto run's not a bad choice. For many other things, it definitely is. So it's going to be one of our first kind of encounters with the supernatural elements of the Yellow Turban. There we go. Because science. I have to give him credit that the cities do feel pretty accurate to ancient Chinese cities. Everything is very cramped. Your build-ups are kind of right on top of each other. The downside is they feel really uninteresting. And I know you probably couldn't hear that great voice acting just now, but it was basically, oh yeah, don't worry about the wheeled art and the weird altars that are here. They certainly aren't super important in keeping our soldiers here. Just, there's no reason to be worried about them, but just don't touch them, okay? Just don't do it. It's meant to be a funny take, because, I mean, obviously they're the most important things is these urns. The downside is it comes off really bad, which is, you know, I mean, one of the biggest problems that we're having with the entire game in its voice acting. We also see, you know, I like the grappling hook a lot, but I also hate it. And some of it is, you know, I don't think we should actually have the grappling hooks allowing you to scale the side of fortresses. I don't really mind that it can scale the side of a house, or I guess a mountain. Come on, horse, catch up with me. There you are. But the side of fortresses is a little much, I think. And it really does render a lot of fortress defense meaningless. Sorry, I'm going to be going in here and taking care of this tower real fast. One thing that I did actually really like, that I'm a little sad with as well, is that any of the map that you've uncovered with other characters will stay highlighted in other subsequent playthroughs. So I actually spent more time just kind of wandering around China with the characters that I'm playing off camera. Mostly because that stuff's really not all that much fun to watch. So yeah. So I spared you a little bit of that. And kind of is a nice thing we get the benefit of for it in this game. Oh gosh. The downside is that I was kind of hoping that between armies, at least, it wouldn't reveal the map. And I've gotten to go off and play with some of the other armies. I've played a little bit with Shu, with Liu Bei, which has the best quote from this entire game so far, anyways, for me, which is that he was born into nobility, but forced to weave wicker baskets. Yes, he was forced to do so. It was his job. That's how he made a living. That's how he supported his mom, his family. But he was forced to do it. It's ridiculous. What a quote. Anyhow, I kind of wish it didn't reveal between armies, because at least then you were kind of discovering it each time with each army. But the other end is that if you were discovering it each time with each army, that would have meant that there was more unique quests per army. Since with one character does it, it's revealed, it's pretty obvious that there is no unique elements per army. Now maybe that's just in the Yellow Turbans campaign. And once we're done with this, and we move on, it'll be unique stuff, and every army will have its own unique map to kind of unveil. Out of the way, guys. But I'm a little worried that that's not going to be the case. So, but elements of this, like if you had to get a hideout with each individual army, that would really be a big slog. And so I'm kind of happy that that's not the case. As much as I want to keep checking things out, let's be a little bit more focused. They've given us fast travel, so I guess we might as well use it. The downside is, like most of these adventure games, when you get fast travel, it starts becoming a little bit too all-consuming. And that's always kind of a problem, I think. We really don't want fast travel to become the way that you travel around the map. But at the same time, getting across the Jiangdong River there is kind of a big drag on our time. And I'd rather spend more of that time doing stuff with you guys than slogging through the river. I have actually purchased a couple of horses. The downside is you need to go to one of the cities that has a stable to access your horses. Otherwise, they will stay with whoever you use them with last. The odd thing for me is that you wind up having multiple of the same horse.
I need everyone to defend this area.
The yellow turbans are in the city? Someone save us!
I'm coming. Whoa. Oh my lord. Alright, yeah, to say that the bugs are real in Dynasty would be a big understatement. And like I was saying before, the downside is a lot of times the things we laugh about in this game are not intentional.
You sure know how to fight.
Yep.
Fear the tiger of Jiangdong.
Oh, fear the tiger.
Continue working hard to set a good example for everyone else.
The downside is I really, really, really like Sun Jian. He was probably one of my favorite additions to the game, especially since Wu is probably the more confusing of the Dynasty Warriors families. Because, I mean, there's so many different important historical characters from Wu. It can be kind of daunting to figure out who was important and why. When they started putting Sun Si and Sun Jian in there, it really solidified that more for me, and I just kind of fell in love with those characters. It's a little sad that I cringe every time that I hear Sun Jian talk. You know, Fear the Tiger of Jiangdong used to be kind of a statement that, for lack of a better word, seems pretty intimidating. I actually felt like that comment had some weight. But hearing this voice actor say it, it really doesn't feel like it has any weight to it. It feels goofy. I do like that you can hear the rings on his sword, though. And I don't know if I have the volume up loud enough for you guys to hear that. You could in the first few videos, and I'm trying to adjust that a little bit more so it's not just the sounds of combat while I'm fighting. You can actually hear me talking. This was a bit of a neat element that is unique for you playing. Having the siege on the city here, where you have the peasants kind of trying to fight back. The downside is, you know, it's the same for everybody so far. I have not got to play as Wei yet, which hopefully doesn't have a new odd translation. But I thought these were pretty cool little battles. It was neat how they put them in there. If you rescue our guy back here, sorry, I'm having a hard time remembering his name now. I know it's not Eugene, but it certainly looks that way a little bit. But he'll give you the information about an attack planned on these two cities. I do like the way they have Sun Jian move. Now that I've gotten to play a few other characters, he doesn't feel quite as stiff and stationary
I'm pulling back for now.
as he did when I first started.
The tiger of Jiangdong.
Nobody's gonna fear the tiger at Jiangdong now.
Thank you! We've not been forsaken after all!
Nope. You haven't been.
Fools to challenge the tiger.
The Jiangdong! I do like that as soon as you clear them out, you get access to the city. Holy cow. I can't jump a fence, but the horse can. The downside I find is that there's nothing interesting in the cities. I mean, you have your shops, and then that is it. There's just no real incentive to do anything here. Sorry, I have to like guide by the big map. It's trying to tell me to go somewhere, but I couldn't see it on my own map. It's acting like I won the day, but that's not the case. There's still some nonsense going on. There we are.
Get back! This altar has nothing at all to do with those soldiers, honest!
Oh, let me get... Alright, he isn't gonna give us the whole lay down like he did last time.
Tiger's claws are sharp.
I wasn't quite meaning to do that in the air, but it does work.
That's the end of our fun then.
I do kind of wish there was more of them. They've done this trick in dynasties in the past, and usually there'll be 3 or more totems.
My altar must have been destroyed.
Now, I know that they do that here in a little bit again. Put out more totems to kind of challenge you.
I must say,
But here it's a little
we
easier.
really did well out there. Continue working hard to set a good example for everyone else.
Yes, we really did do well. Alright, you guys are on top of it, huh? Must be getting tired of getting beaten up. Don't worry, we'll get you taken care of. Oops. There we go. Now see, at least this guy stood his ground. But why is he so different? Like, all of his soldiers are gone, and he'll stay. But had I defeated him, all of his soldiers would have ran. I don't know. It's a minor complaint, I guess. I like that better than soldiers magically vanishing. I've heard people say that that happens in this game as well. I know if you take your eyes off them, they do. And I'm not too sad about that. But that was always kind of a problem for me in games like Dynasty Gundam. I hated that you would take an area and then the soldiers would just vanish into into thin air. It just drove me nuts. It's also a problem I have with Hyrule Warriors. So, go figure. Alright. So we got those 2 taken care of. We got just kind of a side mission that we can take care of there. If we want to help out getting Wu over here, we couldn't do that one. I actually want to try to help these guys out real fast. We might as well just fast travel. There's no reason to spend all this... okay, I can't. There's no reason to spend all that time hiking over there if we don't need to. Let's go ahead and help out our buddies in Shu. I can't see that being a problem later on in our future. I guess one of the other nice things is on this screen I can also see the things I'm picking up, which is kind of nice. So I was picking stuff up for the longest time and I couldn't see any of it. So there's that. Which I'm glad that they didn't make us have a, you know, more involved process for item gathering. I am kind of sad that there's so much item gathering. And I guess as we go, maybe we'll see that pay off a little bit more. But right now, most of the item gathering I've just found to be pretty useless. I mean, every once in a while I've been able to make better weapons at a blacksmith, and that kind of makes it worth picking up some of this stuff out in the wild. It is nice to be able to make your own healing items, although, as with most Dynasty games, as long as you're in the midst of the fight, you typically get enough additional health. I haven't really had to use many items to heal. I actually wind up using items more often than not on accident trying to get to my bow and arrow than I do on purpose. This is a pretty cool area, though. Over here in the peach garden. Be interesting if they went with the idea that you could like change history here. Stop the brothers from making their oath in the peach garden, because you come in and save the town instead of the brothers doing it.
Thank you for saving us. I will not forget this debt.
You are fools to challenge the tiger.
The tiger what?
Wow, you're really fighting hard, aren't you?
The tiger of Jiangdan? Alright, so we've got a lot of other things that we could do, but I think we're just going to go straight for the boss next time. So until then, this is Antman2050. We're playing Dynasty Warriors 9. Have fun, play games, be aware, and we'll see y'all next time.